on the iHeartCountry album release party for Heart and Soul. Eric, we have a lot of fans here with us, and they have been chomping at the bit. I think they were here like an hour early, just waiting to get to talk to you. So we're going to go to a fan question and just see what they have to say. Michael is up first. Michael, say hello to Eric Church and ask your question.
Oh, thank you so much for doing this. Hello, Eric.
Hey,
You just kind of touched on this just a while ago, but you have some great songs, and one of my favorites is "Old Friends, Old Whiskey, and Old Songs," but it's never made it to an album. How do you do that? Like, you have some great songs that are better than anything I listen to on the radio, but they never make it to an album.
And that one, if my wife was here right now, we would have a whole different conversation because that's one of her favorites, and I still we've had many arguments about that song, but I think I love that song. It just didn't fit the project that we were making at the time. And what became interesting is then it had a live on the Double Down tour. I played it, and it's on a live album, and I almost don't want to mess with that now because it's got its own thing that I don't think is going to go away. I think that when I play that on the next tour, I think a lot of people are going to sing Old Friends, Old Whiskey, Old Songs. So I do like the obscurity. I kind of come from I'm a Grateful Dead guy, and I remember there's a lot of songs and stuff that you hear one time, and you go, when you get to hear it again, it's a big deal. So I think that song is taking on a cult following that in modern country music is rare. So I'm excited about that. Now, you and my wife agree. She beats on me every day that, if I don't record that, may not be married forever. So we'll see. Great question, though.
Appreciate that, Michael. Let's go over to Amy, who is standing by. Amy, you're on with Eric Church. What would you like to ask him?
Hello. Thank you for doing this. I just want to know, how would you describe the music that you typically create? How would you describe it in your words?
I mean, I think it's singer-songwriter driven. I mean, that's what I came to town to do. It's I remember early on in my career, Amy, that I was trying to get other people to record the songs I was writing. And there were all these big artists from George Strait, Chesney, McGraw, and I was a songwriter at that time. And I would write these songs, and I would play the songs, and the feedback always was, I don't think it's my song, I think it's his song. So that's kind of where this whole thing was born from, is I think that these songs are my songs. They're about my journey, my path, my life. And I think that it really does start, though, with the singer-songwriter. Everything else with guitars or wherever the journey goes musically really comes from the lyric, and it comes from the heart of a singer-songwriter.
Kim and Tony, you are together. What would you like to say?
After the way that everything has played out with these 3 albums, with the pandemic, quarantine, etc., do you think your thought process as far as writing has changed much? And if so, how has it changed?
I mean, it's a great question. I don't know that I've not written a lot of songs. I mean, again, I go back to I wrote the Heart and Soul project before COVID happened. So I think that I'm trying to figure out what I think about going forward. But I think that the main thing for me is I was a guy, and I've said this on stage many times, I've never taken the moment for granted. But once COVID happened, maybe I did. Because I never saw that coming.
So nobody did.
Right. So I think going forward, it's going to be even more committed, and even more of get to that moment and to that night. And I think that's what'll make it special.
All right, let's go Kelsey. Kelsey, you're standing by. You have a question for Eric Church?
Hey, Eric. Thanks for doing this for everyone. My question is, what makes you feel so passionately that it's music that's going to unite everyone and bring us together again?
Because, Kelsey, I don't know what else will. I look back throughout time. I think that there's been nothing. I mean, since the beginning of time, we've gathered and we've sang and we've rejoiced. And that's just what we do. And I think that if I look at it now, the world is so divided, the world is so at odds with itself that I think music is the thing that, think back to your youth, whether it's that first dance you had, that college party, that first concert you did. In those moments, those were uniting moments. And music is the only thing I've seen. Sports is another one that's close. I mean, there's obviously divisions with rivalries, but it's also the thing that when I'm in that environment, I don't think about the person to the right of me or the left of me as different from me. We want the same thing. We want that team to win, or we want that song to be played next. And I think that is what makes music unique. It's the uniter, not the divider.
The last two fans are next, and first is Shayna. Hi, Shayna. Do you have a question for Eric?
I do. Hello, it's good to see you again.
Hey, Shayna, how are you?
I'm good. My question, had to think of it really quick last night. What song off the new albums are you most excited to play live and hear the crowd's first reaction to? One that we may have never heard yet, but just to hear it loud and in the arena. What's your most looking forward to song?
Well, good question. I'm figuring this out right now, but I'm toying around with starting out the next tour was Heart on Fire. I just think it has the right moment, and Joanna Cotton's involved, and so if that's the opener, and I guess my answer to you is the opener, because I just can't wait to get back and do it. But I think Heart on Fire's got a really good shot at being that.
Awesome. That's my favorite too. That'll be great.
And our final fan is Nick, who is in the room with us. Nick, what would you like to ask Eric?
Eric, I just want to say I'm a huge fan, and you're one of my musical heroes.
Thanks, Nick.
So, as a singer, my band and I had a lot of momentum, and we put out an album during a pandemic. So now we're trying to build the momentum back up. And as an up and coming independent artist, I just want to know, what's the next step? How do you get to that next step of getting out of playing corner bar rooms, and how do you know you're on the right path?
Well, I think you're on the right path, Nick. If you feel it, if you're doing it, the right path is, I've said many times that when I played corner bar rooms and, if I ended up doing a day job, what I would do at night was I would pull out my guitar and been playing on my porch. And I think if you love it that much, that it's just what you do. It has nothing to do with your success, whether it's a bar or a theater or a club. It's just what you do. It's what you love. And I think that if you start there, everything else will lay out in front of you. It's been tough with COVID. I mean, that's no doubt. But I think that the love of it, and the love has nothing to do with money, has nothing to do with fame, has nothing to do with any of that. The love is about playing music for playing music. And I think if you start there, everything else will be okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.